Somebody called the janitor. This real life drama is messy. And these are your stories. The first one is anonymous, which only means one thing. It's juicy. Hi Joss, I've been watching you for about a year now. Your videos really helped me during a dark period of my life. So I thought you and the rest of the subs would love a story of how I got into a fist fight at my own wedding. Okay, first of all, I could cry, but second of all, we totally would love this. What did I do to deserve getting this story, honestly? When I was young, my stepdad and I had never gotten along, and when I was 19, I decided to move in with my high school sweetheart, let's call him Andy, and his parents. Let's say Leah and Kenny, and his sister Karina, who is the one I fought on my wedding day. You fought your sister-in-law? When I moved in, Leah asked if we would get married. Andy and I both said we would eventually, but given Leah is very religious, she said that we should if I was going to live there too, which I thought was no big deal. We could just go to the courthouse and get it done when we had time. Boy, was I wrong. According to Leah, we had to have a real wedding, and it had to be done before October. I moved in late July. Again, I thought no biggie because it could be small, just family. So I bought a nice dress, not a traditional one, but it was white and looked good on me. As for the bridesmaids, I was only going to have my best friend and wanted it to be easy for her. So I told her as long as it was a black dress, she could wear whatever she wanted. As for the venue, I was going to have it at a park or somewhere outside. That way we could only need minimal decor. When I brought this up to Leah, mom, Karina, sister, overheard and insisted she should be my maid of honor. I said no. But Leah and Karina both decided that she was my maid of honor, whether I liked it or not, and that we would be married in their backyard, not the park. I didn't feel comfortable trying to argue with them, so I asked Andy to talk to his dad, Kenny, and see if they could work it out with Leah and Karina. Unfortunately, Kenny was on the Leah-Karina train. So our wedding was in their backyard and Karina was my maid of honor. And planning from there was basically me planning and then those three deciding they didn't like my plans and making new ones. The only thing I got to keep was the dress I bought, but even my best friend was told she wasn't needed and that in fact, she didn't even have to come to it. Andy tried to step in when he could because he knew how upset I was about everything, but even he would get bowled over. So he gave up. Come August 15th, the day of my wedding, Karina, Leah, me, and one of Karina's friends, who I'd never met, but Karina decided needed to be a bridesmaid, are getting ready in the bathroom. They are all wearing their dresses that look like something you'd see on Jersey Shore. It was 2009. Karina and her friend kept trying to help me with my makeup, giving me tips, which was basically them telling me I was doing it all wrong and eventually resorting to basically saying my hair and makeup were boring and ugly, which I'll admit did make me cry. But alas, Leah told them it was my wedding and for once said I should have something my way. Well, isn't that nice? Cut to the ceremony. Everything went surprisingly well, despite it not being what I wanted and not even having half of the 30 people that were there. It was mostly Karina and Leah's friends. Here's where things really got crazy. Karina and Leah liked to drink, and they liked to drink a lot. And because I was kind of bummed, I also drank a whole lot. Oh no, having girls with issues and adding alcohol. Dangerous game. During the reception, people kept coming up to Andy and myself to congratulate us, because obviously that's what you do when a couple just got married. Karina and her friend, which was my other bridesmaid, were getting mad because nobody was paying attention to them and their slutty dance moves got no attention. So Karina decided to confront me about it. But see, I was very tipsy, and when I drink, I get very emotional and kind of aggressive if approached in the wrong tone. Karina began to yell at me, and before Andy or Kenny could step in, I took a swing and landed it right on her big mouth. Oh, she swung back, and before anyone knew it, my wedding became a Friday night smackdown. We were on the floor punching, kicking, yanking each other's hair, all while my poor new husband and guests just watched. It took 3 big guys, including Andy, hey future father-in-law, to break it up. You think that that would be the end of the marriage or that I'd be divorced, but no. We actually are celebrating our 15th wedding anniversary this summer, and we have 2 kids. Karina and I stopped drinking and actually get along quite well now. None of us talk to Leah or Kenny anymore because once Andy and Karina realized how toxic their parents were, we cut them off. Our wedding will go down in the family history books, but that's okay. It's actually funny to us now. I will be damned. Fist fighting your sister-in-law. And here we are 15 years later, friends, and we laugh about it. Wild. I really wish there was footage of that for my own selfish motive. But I'm happy. We have a happy ending. I really didn't think this was gonna work out. I didn't think this marriage was still going. So, incredible. Congrats to you. I also want to know who won the fight. Was it equal? Was it, oh, you should see the other guy, you know? Let me know. I hope you're in the comments. Next up, we have a story coming from Sarah. My fiance cheated on me with my brother's girlfriend. Okay, I'm gonna have to process this. Oh, there's more. Now I'm married to his brother. Oh my God, hold on. You're engaged. Your fiance cheats on you with your brother's his brother's girlfriend. I'm messing everything up. Okay, so it's like you guys did like a swap. Your fiance could be with his brother's girlfriend and you could be with his brother and you guys just swapped partners. This all happened between 2019 and 2021, but it's taken me 4 years to finally feel ready to talk about it. I'm not proud of everything that happened, but I survived it. And I think I've finally made peace with all of it. I, 27 female, met Mark, 33 male, when I was 20. He was older, calm, successful, and exactly what I thought I wanted. He had studied economics, worked in finance, and always looked like he walked out of a GQ shoot. He was confident, mature, and everyone around me thought I was lucky to land a guy like that. 6 months in, I met his family, and that's when I met his younger brother, Dylan, 31 male now. He was 25 back when I met him, but 27 when everything exploded. Dylan and Mark's opposite in every way. Mark wore crisp button-downs and tailored pants. Dylan wore jeans, had tattoos peeking out from under his sleeves, played guitar at dive bars, and worked as an attorney, taking mostly pro bono cases and helping out neighbors like it was his second nature. He was warm, grounded, present. The first time we hung out, just the 2 of us, he took me to get my first tattoo. It was impulsive. I loved it. Mark didn't. He freaked out, told me it was unprofessional, and asked if I did it to impress Dylan. That was our first serious fight. He guilted me so hard, I nearly booked a removal appointment. That was the beginning of a long pattern of gaslighting, emotional control, subtle manipulation. However, still, I stayed. We got engaged. My parents adored him. They thought he was respectful, stable, and good on paper. They didn't see what went on in private. How he criticized how I dressed, how he made me feel needy for wanting basic affection, how he dismissed my anxiety and told me that I was too emotional. Then Dylan brought his girlfriend, Camila, to a family barbecue. She was sweet, warm, and polite. We got along weirdly well. We started doing things together like grabbing coffee, going to yoga, texting about stupid shows. I even told her things I probably shouldn't have told a new friend, like how I felt unsure in my engagement sometimes. I noticed Camila and Mark acting strange. They avoided eye contact. Their conversations were short and awkward. Something felt off, but I couldn't explain it. Then, at dinner with a mutual friend, I found out, quote, "Isn't it weird Dylan's dating Mark's ex?" That sentence flipped my world. Camila had dated Mark for 2 years before I entered the picture. No one told me. Not Mark, not Dylan, not even Camila, who had plenty of time to mention it during our coffee dates. I felt humiliated. After that, I watched. Mark became cold, distant, always on the phone, but I caught glances. Looks that said too much. Meanwhile, Dylan was the opposite. When I had to visit my aunt in another city, he drove me. When our cat had a health emergency, he left work and took us to the vet because Mark couldn't leave a meeting. Okay, so not only is he cheating on you, which is to come, I'm assuming, with his brother's partner, but that's his ex-girlfriend. Why is his brother dating his brother's ex-girlfriend? There's a lot of betrayal going on and we haven't even got to the cheating yet. He brought me coffee, asked how I really was. He didn't flirt, he just showed up like a decent human being. Then came the texts. Mark left his phone on the bed. I wasn't snooping, but the screen lit up. Camila. The messages were intimate. I still think about that weekend. Sometimes I wish things had gone differently. You felt like home. I froze. My chest hurt. But I didn't say anything. Not yet. Days later, I asked Mark what was wrong between us. He said I was being dramatic. I asked if he was speaking to Camila. He said that I was insecure. Classic deflection. Later, I used his laptop to email my sister and curiosity got the better of me. I opened a folder that I shouldn't have. Photos, chats, hotel receipts, videos. They had been sleeping together the whole time. This was a full-blown affair. After Camila was introduced to me, afterwards, she smiled at me and asked if I wanted to do brunch. After she told me she hoped I would be her sister-in-law. I didn't eat or sleep properly for 3 days. Mark didn't seem to notice or care. He continued texting her like nothing had happened. I was punishing myself thinking, what did I do wrong? I grew up watching healthy relationships, my parents, my siblings. I didn't want to be the one who failed before even getting married. And then came the family dinner. Every Saturday, always at their parents' house. Dylan and I cooked with their mom while Mark grilled with their dad. Camila showed up, quiet, jittery. It was all too much. At the dinner table, Mark made a joke about me and Dylan. Why did I say that weird? At the dinner table, Mark made a joke about me and Dylan always laughing together. I snapped. Maybe I just prefer honesty, I said. He smirked. What's that supposed to mean? Maybe I like people who don't lie about who they've slept with. Silence. I turned to Dylan. You didn't know? Camila and Mark dated before me and they've been sleeping together again. I saw the messages, the photos, the receipts. Dylan froze. Then calmly, he stood and punched Mark in the face. No shouting, no fight, just one hard hit. I left. That night, I told Mark I knew everything. At first, he denied it, then he minimized it, then blamed me, and I kicked him out. She replied saying it wasn't supposed to happen. Yeah, no shit. I told her I didn't hate her, but I'd never trust her again, and we were done. Forever. Mark left town within a month. Dylan went, no contact with him. Like everything just blew up in the matter of 5 minutes. Their parents were devastated, but they didn't defend Mark. Their dad said, you reap what you sow. Their mom cried a lot, but said she still hoped Dylan would find love again one day. She just didn't know that it would be with me. My own parents were shocked. My mom kept saying, he fooled us. My dad, who adored Mark, actually apologized to me for pressuring me to settle down. They hated how much I had hidden my unhappiness. 2 months later, Dylan invited me to the Super Bowl. I almost said no, but I went. We laughed, we drank beer, we screamed at the screen like teenagers. It was fun. We started dating. Carefully, slowly, no big declarations, no rushing. One night, that same mutual friend told me something I will never forget. You know, you and Dylan were supposed to go on a date before all of this, right? Apparently, Dylan had been invited to a group dinner the same night I met Mark. I was supposed to be his blind date. Imagine where all of your lives would have been had you been his date that night. Like Mark and Camila probably would have just been together and done their own, and you guys would have been. But Dylan got into a minor car accident on the way and he couldn't come, so I sat next to Mark instead. I remembered hearing sirens that night. I just didn't know they were for Dylan. Now, I'm 27. Dylan and I are married. We live in a little house with a big white fence, exactly the kind Mark once mocked as boring. We have twin toddlers, 2 dogs, a lazy cat named Mango. I have 4 tattoos. The third one, Dylan gave it to me on our anniversary. Dylan and Mark haven't spoken in years. Dylan says he's at peace with it. Forgiven, but not forgotten. He doesn't miss him. Camila moved away. I don't think about her often, but when I do, I remember her holding my hand during brunch, talking about trust. This is crazy. This should be a movie on Netflix. Truly. Like a rom-com with all the twists and the turns. Like, and this is real life. I'm just shocked. I don't even have anything to say. I'm stunned. These are juicy stories. I have won a prize here with you guys just giving me the gossip. I need to hydrate after that. I'm sweating. Grab your beverage, but drink some water. Cheers. Next story is anonymous. My mother-in-law from hell. This is how she made my life a living hell and how I got revenge in the most beautiful way. Trigger warning for some gross content. Ugh, where is this going? This happened over the course from 2005 to 2015. I, 48 male, was married to my wife of 10 years. We'll call her Amy. Our marriage was very strong until it grew strained because of her horrible mother, Karen. Is Karen her real name, or are we just calling her Karen? I'll provide some context to help set the scene as to how all of this happened. Amy and I met by chance at a farmer's market. I've been a cattle farmer all my life, and I was at the farmer's market selling some chicken meat and homegrown beans. Long story short, Amy and I met when she came to my booth and we got to talking, and she was quite the catch. I asked her out and the rest is history. But it wasn't always unicorns and rainbows because of Karen. She totally lived up to her name. So her name's actually Karen. Karen never approved of me because she viewed farmers as murderers for slaughtering animals for meat, one of the stereotypes I absolutely despise. People like her fail to realize that farmers grow their crops and all of their produce, and we have to kill pets in order for them to make it to the market in the first place. Anyway, Karen also didn't like that I always wore flannel shirts and work jeans. But I didn't care because I took pride in what I do, and I loved Amy so much that nothing would change how I felt. We married without Karen's approval after all. She loved living on the farm and would occasionally help take care of the animals, and she always prepared warm cooked meals when I came in for dinner. I always put forth my best effort to be the best husband, and I always called her my buttercup. Unfortunately, our marriage began, here I was hoping you guys were still together. Unfortunately, our marriage began to deteriorate when Karen started to become controlling over Amy, and she'd always tell her what to do. Despite being a grown adult, Amy was still being treated as a kid because it stemmed from her father abandoning her mother after she found she was pregnant. She raised Amy entirely on her own and didn't take very kindly to men because of it. Amy told me that Karen wasn't the best parent because when she was a kid, her mother had a ridiculous, strict schedule and never let her go to prom or on any dates with boys until she turned 18. Well, I can understand some of those reasons. What Karen said to me is what really made things start to go downhill. Quote, "You'll always be the man who stole my little girl from me." Spoken like a true Karen, am I right? Then we get to the time Karen went full Karen mode, which would end up costing me my marriage and my reputation. On this particular day, it was during the harvest season, and Amy was helping me butcher some roosters. We had to cook some meat we always sold at the farmer's market. For context, we do not abuse our animals like many vegans say we do. Chickens cannot be butchered until their mature age, which is usually 2 to 3 months, and we always have a large coop that they could roam around and the hens could lay eggs. We butchered chickens because the meat industry demand is high and the income that comes with it averages roughly $70,000 a year. sometimes more, sometimes less. This is very interesting. Anyway, while we were outside, Karen showed up unannounced and immediately caused troubles. She started screaming at me because she saw what I was doing and had the audacity to call 911 and reported that I was abusing the animals. Needless to say, that really set me off because not only did she show up on my property unannounced, she was trying to frame me. A few minutes later, the sheriff, whom I was good friends with for a long time, shows up and I tell him what's going on and how Karen showed up out of nowhere and was not welcome here. As expected, Karen does her psychotic performance, but the sheriff wasn't buying it. He told her she was the one who needed to leave or be arrested for trespassing. I then told Karen if she didn't leave, she would never be allowed to come back again and that we were going to have way bigger problems. Now, Amy was just standing off to the side, watching the whole fiasco and was crying because she was used to being screamed at by her mother and getting caught in the middle of something. I walked over to reassure her everything was okay and she calmed down. Eventually, Karen left and we thought that that was the end of it. Newsflash, there was more coming. About 30 minutes later, I hear tires screeching on the driveway and I go out to find Karen in a pickup truck with a large cage. Oh my God, she's gonna try to save the chickens. She's gonna try to take the chickens and save them, or the roosters. I confronted her and I told her to leave, but she ignored me. She said, "I'm taking these chickens away and I'm setting them free." This was when things began to turn physical because you don't mess with a man's property. I told Amy to go inside to call the police because this was turning ugly. As a farmer, you come in my domain. You are fair game. Oh boy, where's this going? I needed to protect my farm. I walked over and I stood in front of the chicken coop and I warned Karen to get off my property or she's going to regret it. I was locked in and ready to just wail on her. Okay. We're not gonna do that though. FYI, I'm 6'3" and weigh 250 pounds. And Karen was smaller compared to me, so I knew that I could easily handle her. I just wish she would have backed down. Unfortunately, she didn't listen and she charged at me screaming. And so I put her on the ground and I just wrapped my arms around her so that her arms were restrained and she couldn't move. Okay, I'm glad that we weren't wailing and harming another woman, but I don't like this whole thing. But I wasn't done. Oh boy. The pasture where the cattle were kept was a few feet away from us and full of manure. Oh no. This gave me the idea. We moved closer and closer and I shoved her into a huge pile of cow manure. Can we just imagine the smell though? In your face, on your body. Huh. She was screaming and started puking. Yup. And I was loving every second of it. After some time went by and Karen was still on the ground, rolling around in the grass, the sheriff returned a second time and this time arrested her. Obviously, he put gloves on beforehand. I didn't even have to say anything. He saw all the evidence he needed to press the charges. At this point, Karen was dead silent for once. Before she was hauled away, I told her, for a farmer, I'd say I'm good at taking care of animals. I'm putting this one away. Ooh. Long story short, Karen was held in jail and Amy and I have filed a restraining order against Karen and she never bothered us again. She was sentenced to, what? She was sentenced to 10 years in prison for felonious assault. What? Trespassing and attempted burglary for trying to steal my chickens? Am I like the only one surprised by that? I thought it was just gonna be like a slap on the wrist and pay a fine or something. Amy and I are doing better than we had before, and we just had our first child together, a baby boy. I've got a little farmhand to help me out now. I'll leave this here. Don't mess with a farmer. We are the reason you have fresh food on the table. We take care of our animals and only euthanize them humanely so we have fresh meat for the holidays. Appreciate your farmers. That is like not what I was expecting. When you said mother-in-law from hell and I got revenge, I never thought it was about mother-in-law trying to save the chickens and her landing in a pile of manure. I could have never guessed. Next up, we have a story from Belle. What a pretty name. I'm in a pickle and need your and YouTube's advice. All right, guys, we got to give Belle her advice. I am 29 female and I'm happily married to my husband. Let's call him Jack, 30 male. We met in 2019 and he has a best friend, let's call him Dylan, the same age as Jack. For some context, before I met Jack, he had come out of a DV relationship and his ex would question everything he did, including cheating on her. Ironic, since she cheated on him, and he was showing signs of trauma. I am an SA survivor. I saw and was very supportive and patient with him. Around the 3-month mark of our relationship, I began to question our relationship as Jack was constantly questioning me, blaming the trauma. This was when I started developing feelings for Dylan, his best friend. But I pushed it away as he was in a relationship at the time, and I reminded myself that Jack was recovering from his trauma. You're also in a relationship. Yes. Fast forward to 2024. 2 years of marriage, and Jack and I were having a discussion about our relationship, and I told him about how I was questioning our relationship and developing feelings for Dylan. FYI, we all remained great friends and hung out a lot. He understood. Huh? He understood and was okay with it. Yeah, that's a no from me. If you say that to me in there's no bye-bye. Confused, but I'm gonna continue. I also told Dylan, and he said that he liked me at the time as well, but didn't take action out of respect for me and Jack being together, and he and his ex were on the verge of breaking up. Remember, the 3 of us still hang out, and late 2024, the 3 of us decided to go to Queensland to watch the NRL Magic Round. Football, where the teams come together to play in one stadium, and I noticed some things that didn't seem right. You just confessed to your husband that you're questioning your marriage and you have feelings for his best friend, and he's cool with that, and the 3 of you are now hanging out, and Dylan also likes you. Okay. Not my relationship to judge, but I'm just saying it couldn't be me. We sat at the table in our hotel and we were talking whilst Jack was getting ready. Dylan said that Jack was really lucky to have a girl like me and wished he had a girl like me. He is currently single. I reassured him that he will find someone. During the trip, Dylan would make a glance towards me and I noticed it. We also had a few hugs, but we were friendly, but I'm starting to question this. Am I overthinking this? Jack knows that I would never cheat and I can't comprehend the idea of cheating. It's horrible. Like you said, if you can't stay loyal, stay single. Any advice would be great. Girl, throwing my words back in my face. I'm happy you're considering my words on this though. It's true. You wouldn't cheat, but you're having these feelings of maybe there's some feelings for someone else. I mean, ultimately the decision is yours on your marriage. I think you should focus on your marriage and if that is the right person for you. Not, I'm gonna leave Jack for Dylan. Take Dylan out of it. Bye-bye, Dylan's not there, he's not an option. Do you wanna be in this marriage? I think that's what you should focus on first and get some clarity there. Because Dylan might not end up being the one for you, you know? Focus on your marriage and see, is this something that's working for us? Am I happy in this? But let her know your advice, you guys, in the comments. The next one is anonymous. Am I the a-hole for not caring about my sister-in-law's new boyfriend? I, 30 female, have this sister-in-law. We'll call her Debbie, 24 female. Debbie had just broken up with her ex of 4 years late last year, and then a month later got a new boyfriend. This new boyfriend, we'll call him Jim, 31 male. Well, since my sister-in-law got together with this guy, she's been breaking her promises with me and only considering what he thinks is right. For instance, my husband and I helped her when she broke up with her ex by inviting her into our home. She has promised that she would help us out with moving. We were moving to another place at the time and decorating our new place. She may have helped a handful of times, but I did everything else since she always had to be with that guy. Every time I would ask her to help with decorating, she would push it to the side because again, she had to go be with that guy. Mind you, she wasn't paying for anything during the first 4 months that we let her stay with us. I ended up just doing everything myself since my husband was always working. She was working only 3 days a week. Fast forward a bit. She gets her dog back from her ex. She's supposed to meet the people she hired to bring her dog here early in the morning. Think 4 a.m. That's early. I am a mother to a rambunctious toddler, so any sleep I get is beautiful. Anyways, the night before the dog's arrival, she called me. I was ignoring her text since I knew she was about to ask. And she asked me if I could get her dog. She is currently at her boyfriend's place, sleeping over there. She said she wasn't expecting his arrival for another day, but that it's okay if I can get her dog for her. I was pissed. My husband and I specifically said that her dog is her responsibility. So if she wanted her dog, she'd have to take care of everything it needs. But being the damn people pleaser I was, I reluctantly agreed. And I asked her if she had plans or if his kennel was ready, but of course nothing was ready because she thought she had more time. Mind you, she could have came home, got his stuff ready, and woke up early to get the dog. She didn't. She chose sex over family. She even admitted that she felt guilty about it and that she would get me snacks to make up for it. I never saw those snacks. Wow. Snacks. Thanks. So her decisions based on that guy just leaves a sour taste in my mouth. But on to the boyfriend. Now, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but have you ever met someone and just not like them? Like they never personally did anything to you, but it's just like you dislike their vibe or their aura. That's what I felt when I met him. I just didn't like his presence. Then I didn't like the fact that he was being overly friendly with my toddler when it's the first time we're meeting him. That happens all the time. Sometimes someone's energy, you just pick up on it. And I'm like, we would never be friends. Like, respectfully, you be you, I'll be me, and we'll just be us. Separately. When I brought up how weird it felt to me to my sister-in-law, she waved it off and said that I was being mean for no reason and that he's just trying to be nice. Blah, blah, blah. When I talked to my husband about it, he agreed with me and how he also thought it was weird. Ever since they started dating, my sister-in-law has been trying to force him down our throats, saying we'd like him if we just got to know him. Her doing that just makes me never want to get to know him. I don't care to know him. I don't know if this makes a difference, but he also broke her heart in the first month of them dating. He literally broke up with her and she couldn't handle it and tried reaching out to him for closure, and they got back together. Sigh. She says he's good to her and that's great for her and I'm happy that she's happy, but I don't effing care about him. There's more, but I feel I've rambled long enough. So, am I the a-hole for not caring about my sister-in-law's new boyfriend? I don't think you're the a-hole. I think it's new. It's fresh. You're picking up on vibes. You and your husband don't like how he was around your child. They already broke up within the first month. I feel like you might be seeing red flags that maybe she's not seeing yet. I think you gotta let it play out though. She's gonna date who she's gonna date. And just see where it goes. Thanks to everyone who submitted a story. If you guys want to submit your story, the form is linked in all my descriptions of every video. I'll see you guys next time. Stay classy up there. Stay sassy.